Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Money Codes. My name is Joel here to give you today's money code fix. And today we're going to be talking about a concept called credit gardening. So, if you're thinking about applying for multiple credit card products, or if you're thinking about trying to do a funding sequence, meaning you're going to multiple different banks and financial institutions trying to apply for credit products, you need to be very mindful of gardening because it's not going to be as simple as just applying to everywhere you want a credit card product. You got to be strategic and then you have to time it in a very strategic way. And that brings me to the next slide. So, in the last video, I talked about the top 5 things, in my opinion, you need to be mindful of prior to submitting your credit card applications. And one of the last slides in that video was be strategic with your timing. I talked about Chase's 524 rule, how Amex is wanting to limit the amount of credit card products we can apply for at a particular point in time. I talked about Bank of America and US Bank being inquiry sensitive, meaning they don't want to see a lot of fresh credit card applications on your credit reports before you try to apply for them. And then I think about gardening because, again, credit card gardening is almost impossible to get away from if you're serious about maximizing your credit card applications and maximizing the amount that you get with credit card funding. So it's really all just a waiting game. I don't care if you're trying to dispute things off of your credit reports. I don't care if you're trying to get 6 figures in a funding sequence. The majority of the time that you're working on your credit profile, you're just waiting. You're basically doing 1 or 2 things strategically to your credit profile, and then you're waiting, and then you're doing the next step. And the basic definition of credit card gardening is refraining from any new credit card applications, or you do any sort of action that results in a hard inquiry being applied to your credit profile. It's going to stay on your credit reports for 2 years. It's going to impact your score for 12 months, but it's actually going to stay on your credit reports for 2 years. And if you think you're just going to go to every single bank, every single credit union, and just hit apply, and try to apply for 10 different credit card products in one day, you are going to hit a wall. There's no way around that. You're going to hit a wall. Lenders do not like seeing consumers go from bank to bank, credit union to credit union, trying to apply for everything at once. It's going to look like you need the funds. So you may get 3 or 4, maybe even 5 applications deep. Everything afterwards, you're going to get denials. Lenders do not like seeing a lot of activity like that. So what are the benefits? Why do you need to do credit card gardening? Number one, it gives you time to build up a relationship with that bank or that financial institution. They call this relationship banking, and the best example I can give you is Navy Federal. So if you've ever been in a situation where you apply for a credit card product with Navy Federal and you did not get an approval, you would have gotten something in the mail that states the reason why you didn't get the approval. And then they're also going to give you your Navy Federal internal score. So not only is Navy Federal going to be paying attention to your 3-digit FICO score, the FICO 9 to be specific, Navy Federal has their own different system in addition to FICO, things that they're paying attention to, and they're grading us based off of their own proprietary system. And it goes from 100 to 450. This is specific to Navy Federal. I think they're the best example of relationship banking. You may have a 720 score, go to Navy Federal, and then you're surprised that the credit limit that they issued you is nowhere near the credit limit that they gave somebody who had a 560 or 580. It happens all the time. So what does credit gardening do? If you're with any other bank, any other credit union, and you signed up with them, you now have a checking account and a savings account, and you've been issued a credit card product that you may not be a fan of the credit limit, use this period of time to just nurture that relationship. Use this time to not just try to apply for every different product that you see. Take care and nurture that product that they gave you. Pay on time. Make sure utilization is low. Try to open up other products with them as far as like savings account or the pledge loan that I talked about in another video. Try to nurture that relationship with them, and then you're going to notice if you wait about 6 months and you go back to them and try to do a credit limit increase, or you try to get another product, you're going to notice that the credit limit that you get is going to be considerably higher than the first go round. Another benefit of credit gardening is that you're going to allow inquiries to fall off. I briefly mentioned this before, but anytime you do a credit card application, I don't care if you're going to the auto dealership, I don't care if you're trying to apply for an American Express card, you're going to get a hard inquiry. A hard inquiry is going to normally drop your credit score about 5 points on average, maybe 7 points. It really depends on your credit profile. And then it's going to stay on your credit report for 24 months. It's going to impact your score for 12, but it's still going to stay on your credit report for 24 months. So be strategic, time your applications very carefully, So let's say you decide that you apply for credit cards once per year. If you do that every December, you're going to notice that every 12 months, the previous inquiries that you've accumulated, they're going to slowly fall off as you bring on new credit card products. The third reason is it allows the credit to age. So anytime you apply for a new credit card product, you may notice that your credit score would actually go down because anytime you add a new credit card product to your credit profile, you have now shrunk the average age of credit. Anything you do to your credit profile is going to impact your credit score one way or another. So let's say you try to apply for 3 credit card applications today, and you decide to wait 6 months or maybe even a year before you apply for anything else. You're allowing those original credit cards to get some age on them prior to applying for your new credit cards, which is going to increase the likelihood of the approvals. Hopefully that makes sense. I also want you to use this time in the credit gardening phase to continue to do disputes if there are any issues with your credit profile. Not only derogatory accounts, not only late pays, collections, charge-off, but I already mentioned in the previous video how important it is that your name, your address, all of the information that you may not think is important, make sure that in this time you're going back and you're following up with the credit bureaus, making sure that that information is as clean as possible. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the previous video. Even if you have a 700 plus credit score, if there are some inaccuracies, if there are some inconsistencies with the name, the spelling, the addresses, even with a good credit score, you still may get declined. So use this opportunity to continually refine and clean up your credit profile. Now, I kind of answered this before. How long should you be in the garden? 6 months prior to making a large purchase, but ideally having 12 months, if not even longer, is always going to be better. So the best case scenario when you're trying to do funding or you're trying to apply for credit cards isn't really just to apply for one credit card at a time, waiting 2 weeks or waiting 2 months, applying for one credit card at a time. That's not really the way you want to do it. The most ideal way is to apply for, let's say, 3, 4, maybe 5 credit cards in one day. And in my course, I really go in depth on how to do that. You want to have all of your applications going through at the same time. That way you're limiting your inquiries. That way you are doing everything at the same exact time. And then you're waiting. You're waiting 6 months. You're waiting 12 months. You're cleaning up derogatories. You're cleaning up inquiries. And then after 6 to 12 months, you're going back to other financial institutions. And then you're doing the same thing again. And this is how you can maximize the amount of funding that you get in one sequence. But that period between your first round of applications and your second round of application, that's what is the gardening phase. This is where you're not going to be applying for anything else. You're not going to be enticed by any pre-approval letters that you get in the mail. You're not going to do anything that is going to result in a hard inquiry. You're just going to sit tight, and in that time, you're going to do your homework and you're going to find out what are the next credit card products I want to apply for. You're going to pay attention to the bureaus that they pull from. You're going to have your own strategy. You're going to have your own notes of these are the credit card products that I apply for today. And in about 6 to 8 months, I'm going to apply for these next 3. Here are the next 3 that I'm going to apply for, and then that's going to be my funding sequence. After that, I'm going to wait another 6 to 8 months, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. That right there is a basic funding strategy, and hopefully you can see why it is so important if you are serious about applying and getting credit cards, that you need to have a time period where you don't do anything. And I know it bothers some people. I know you get online, you go to forums, you want to apply for different things, you get things in the mail that entices you. You don't want to do any of that. You just want to sit back, relax, and then wait until it's time to do your next move, right? Plan ahead. And here's the last thing before we close out. You can't beat the Chase 524 rule by canceling existing cards. So here's what I mean by that. If you go to Bank of America, if you go to US Bank, if you go to American Express, if you go to Fifth Third Bank, if you go to Citibank, and you've opened up 5 credit card applications, and then you realize, I really want a Chase credit card. I really want to be in their ecosystem. I want the Chase Sapphire Preferred. You cannot close down any account that you opened up previously thinking that you're going to fit back into the Chase 524. It's not going to work like that. And if you open up 5 accounts in a 24-month period, Chase is going to put you involuntarily in a gardening phase where you're not going to be able to do nothing with them anyway. So this right here is a perfect example of doing your homework ahead of time, planning out the credit card that you really want, because if you try to apply for everybody at the same time without being strategic, without having a gardening period for your previous accounts to properly age, you may unknowingly lock yourself out of credit card products that you really want. And the Chase 524 rule is probably the best example I can give of locking yourself out of a better product if you're not doing your homework ahead of time, if you're not being patient enough. All right, so that is the end of the video. Hopefully you got a couple of gems. Hopefully you got some more insight on the importance of credit card gardening and really why it's important to just be patient when you're trying to do your credit card goals. Nothing is going to happen overnight. Stick with the plan, be patient, and you will reach your goals. That's all I got for you today. I will catch you in the next video. Make sure you go ahead, like, and subscribe. Go down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you are currently in a gardening situation yourself. And I'm going to catch you in the next video. Peace.